Hi, okay. I went live a couple nights ago and showed you the dot makeup method, and Facebook deleted it for some reason. So I figured I could hop on here again. Let's try this again, do it live, and you can always watch the replay if you're not watching this live. So this is my all-in-one makeup palette for those of you who are new here. All of these tins are cream, and you buy the tins individually, and there's lots of different compact sizes. Saint actually just dropped some new compact designs, and they are beautiful. There's like a white one, a navy, and this beautiful like tan color, kind of like my backdrop. So of course I'm obsessed with it because it's like my favorite color ever. So anyway, you can pick and choose the colors that you want. And if you want to get color matched, you can just go to colormatch.pagespirit.com. Okay, so I'm going to start with the smudge brush. And people always ask me, like, how do you get the creams to go on smoothly? I always prep my skin really well, and I love to use a facial oil serum. I use this Jojoba Glow and Hydrate serum. I usually put it on like right after I get out of the shower, so by the time I get to doing my makeup, it's had some time to really soak into my skin. So I do that first. And then I'm going to take the more like rounded side of the smudge brush, and I'm going to go into my contour shade, and I always just start at the top of my cheeks. And this is a method that I usually recommend trying once you've kind of gotten the hang of like a normal application with the makeup, just because depending on like your different like skin complexities or needs, sometimes it's just easier to kind of learn that first before you do this like blend it all together method. This is really nice for like on the go, and you really just want to hurry up and slap it on like I'm doing right now. It can be really messy. So just kind of framing my forehead, coming underneath my cheekbones here. And then I'm just going to come at the base of my nose, and then I just kind of come down the sides of my nose with this brush, like that. Okay, and then I'll just kind of outline around my lips, and we've got our contour on. So I really like doing this method to show people placement and where each color goes, because the whole purpose of this line is to really help eliminate layering or to keep layering really light. Okay, now I'm gonna flip over to this side of the smudge brush. It's a little bit more squared, and we're gonna go into what I refer to as my color correcting shade because it's the darkest of my foundation shades. And so I use a darker color underneath my eyes, basically across the center part of my face, and then under and around my mouth and nose. Okay. Then I use a lighter shade, which is what I refer to as like my main highlight shade, on my jawline, because my jawline is lighter than the center part of my face. It doesn't have a ton of pigment, doesn't have a ton of color. That's what I love about this palette, is that you can get this like totally customized color. And then I use my lightest highlight shade on the inner and outer corners of the eyes. And when you're doing the dot method, it's really just kind of learned in terms of like how much product to use. I do find when people do this method for the first time, they use a little bit too much product. And even I'm guilty of doing it sometimes, which is why I always say, you know, perfect like your colors first before you try this method, because I'd hate for you to like try the makeup for the first time and use way too much product and be like, this feels disgusting on my face. If you can feel the makeup on your face, then you know you're using way too much. Okay, and then we're just gonna flip back over to the rounded side, and I'm gonna go into my blush shade. This is a color called Pink Lemonade. It was a limited edition shade, but Baby Watermelon is identical. Like, it's basically the same color. So if you like this pink shade, then go with Baby Watermelon. I need to do a video too on like mixing lip and cheek shades, because some ladies have been telling me like, oh, I don't really love this shade on my lips. And there's a lot of shades I don't love on my lips either, but mixing shades is magical. So I will have to do one on mixing lip and cheek shades to get like a really good lip shade that you like. Okay, then we are going to take the buff brush. This is the buff brush. It's usually one of the brushes I recommend in like your initial purchase. I love it. It's great for medium to full coverage. And then we're just going to blend from lightest to darkest. So I'm gonna take the big side and I'm gonna blend along the chin. What I like about the buff is if you do have large pores or just need a little bit more coverage, you can kind of press and stipple in the product to give you a little bit more of that full coverage look. And then along the jawline and just kind of blend it out. And like I said, having that oil serum underneath, like first, really helps with the blending process too. Okay, and then I will flip over to the small side, and I use the small side to come up underneath the eyes. Get that nice and blended. Inner corners here. Bring that all the way up to the temple, blend it out. Oh my gosh, hair in my eye, okay. And then sometimes if you have fake lashes like me, just take my finger to get up and around that corner. Like so. Okay, now let's move on to the contour. So I'll usually just take like the tip of the brush right here and just come and blend that contour here. I usually do the forehead first before I get close to the blush. Just gonna blend it up. I've got like some little breakouts going on, so I'll show you how I conceal those at the end. I like to do my acne last. Okay, and then same thing, we're gonna come under this side. And then I'll flip back to the small side. Forgot to do my nose. Walking around looking like a clown. Okay, small side for the nose. Just kind of blending that all together. Just want to soften the lines on the nose. I'm not trying to like fully get rid of like the shadows there. And then I'll go to the small side again and I just kind of blend in the blush. Blend it up. And now you've got your makeup basically all nice and blended together. And if you want to perfect it a little bit, you can take your perfector sponge. I just get mine damp. I especially like to do this under the eyes. Like if you accidentally got way too much product on your brush and you notice while you're blending like, oh, it's feeling kind of heavy, just take your perfector sponge and you can just kind of remove any excess product and soften everything up. And then I'll show you what I do with this acne spot here. Okay, so this is the spot brush, and this is a brush that I use when I'm using Demi, which I don't know if you saw the Demi video I posted the other day, but Demi are these corrector shades here, and these like are magical. So I like to use Demi at the end on my acne spots, and because this is still kind of more fresh, it's not totally healed, it typically has excess purple and blue in it, so I'm gonna use a shade Y01 right here. And with Demi, you really have to use the tiniest amount of product, and you wanna get it right on where that color is. Because if you use too much or go outside the lines of where the color is, then you kind of create this little halo effect, and it will just like enhance the acne spot. Okay, I actually think this has a little bit more blue than purple, so I'm gonna use a little bit of 01. 01 is this guy right here. Isn't that like just wild how it just like makes it disappear? And seriously, in person, it's like you can't see it either. Like sometimes I'll do Demi and then I'll take my makeup off at the end of the day and I'll be like, oh yeah, I had like a lot of acne right there and I totally forgot because Demi just like made it disappear. And then my under eyes aren't too bad. Got a little bit of sleep last night. If I have like some bag lines, I'll just take a little bit of 03. This obviously is just very extra, you guys. This is not something I'm always doing on a daily basis, but I know people ask, so I figured I'll show you while I'm doing it. So just take a little O3 and kind of blend that in like that. Just softens up those lines there. And then we will take some illuminator, and I love that this just adds like a little extra like glow to the skin, little hydrated look. Not necessary, but I do love the effect that it can give. So just down the nose, on the top of the Cupid's bow, and then I will do my lips. So I use the multitasker brush and my Astoria contour shade. I always put on, I should mention, I don't have it, but I always use like a chapstick or just like something first on my lips, and then I put this on. So we're just gonna line around the lips, come up from the base to the top. Same thing on the other side. And then I use Plum. It's very well loved. So take a little Plum, fill it in. And then to warm it up, I add my lip and cheek shade. This is like my go-to color, my signature shade. And just add it in the center there. Mix it together. And then if I want just a little bit more that plum on the outside, kind of creates like an ombre lip look. So, oh, I've got a little spot here I want to correct. Just a little acne spot. Just took a little bit of that wild one down there, and she's gone. Okay, so that is how you do the dot method and how you use a little bit of Demi. So if you guys have any questions, you know where to find me. I hope this was helpful. I'll talk to you later. Bye.